Thanks for tuning in. Today I want to share the luxury items that I'm now ditching in 2020. And this doesn't necessarily mean I'm throwing them all out of my collection immediately, but rather these are items that I will be much more conscientious about when I'm adding new pieces to my collection, and will make sure I ask myself the right questions before I commit to some of these items. So I have 5 luxury items or luxury item categories that I will be ditching from my collection. Before we roll right into it, there are a few items that are just bothering my mind, so I want to address them really quickly. It's not the best weather today, so I'm working with whatever lighting's coming through the windows. It's likely the lighting will go in and out. There is a new guy that decided to grow on my face. I don't know where it came from. Literally, I'm not wearing that much makeup these days because I'm in the house all the time. And the other day I was just thinking to myself that my skin was feeling really good. I was like, oh wow, like it's finally calmed down and it's like looking better. And then it came. And then the last item that I know would bother me if I was watching this video is this wrinkle going down my dress right here. I straight up cannot be bothered to iron this right now. I already went through the effort of painting on my face. Am I really going to? No. So okay, I hope you'll understand and can bear with me. But I'm gonna now roll through the items real quick. So the first main category will be SLGs. If you watch a number of my videos, I probably sound like a broken record now, but even in my previous collection videos and things like that, I've mentioned how I'm proud that I don't have a lot of SLGs. That's actually not quite correct. I do have a number of SLGs, especially card holders or these like smaller sized wallets. I use them as wallet equivalents basically. I only have 2 from Chanel, which I'm very proud of, but like I have this from Fendi. I have like a whole card holder wallet video where you can see pretty much all the SLGs that I have today. Really planning on not buying more of these in the future. Like unless there's one that gets like used up so much that it's falling apart that I need a new one. Until I really get to that point, I'm trying not to add more SLGs to my collection. I think if you have a handful that span across different designs, serve different purposes, and you're able to get like the variety, so like basically not have like 50 card holders that look just like this, but you have like this style and you have like more of a pouch style, and you can have one that has like a zipper and card. I think, you know, having some of that variety can definitely be helpful in still getting like a lot of variety and excitement out of using your items. But like I personally am planning on not adding any more of these kinds of SLGs to my collection. I know they keep coming out with beautiful colors and all of that stuff, but I think that this money is better spent towards something else rather than continuing to build up a lot of these SLGs that, you know, the more you have, the harder it is to use all of them, because at least for me, I only use one at a time. So that's why I am ditching getting any new SLGs for my collection. The next category are heavily embellished costume jewelry pieces. I already have a good number of earrings in my collection. Most of them are embellished. I have recently started to focus on non-embellished pieces to add, and if I am adding an embellished piece, I make sure I ask myself whether I love this piece enough to go through the potential trouble of having to get it repaired when the embellishments fall out. I know Chanel is notorious for their embellishments falling out. I have sent Chanel earrings back for repair and I continue to use them. At the end of the day, it is costume jewelry that costs a pretty penny. I don't always think it's worth the effort, and the cost, especially at Chanel for their costume jewelry, is really creeping up there. So I start getting to a point of like, well, if I'm going to spend like $800 on this pair of earrings, like, I don't know, I might as well save that $800 towards a different bag or part of like a ready-to-wear piece or something like that. It's not only from Chanel though, it's like costume jewelry pieces that are heavily embellished that have a potential for them to need some repair are pieces that I'm trying to stay away from, and I'm trying to slowly like reduce in my collection. I also say that because I feel like there are a lot of wonderful brands, like jewelry brands, that focus on making high quality jewelry. It's also costume jewelry. A lot of times they will also be embellished, but they're made in a way for the embellishments to stay on better. Like for example, I shared these vintage Hollywood earrings. These have a lot of embellishments in them and they're really sparkly, but they're still very well made, and I don't have any concern about the crystals falling out because they're not just glued on. It's actually like a whole piece that's stuck together. You know, if I think about the headache and the wait time of sending out something for repair, I think it's better to get more costume jewelry pieces from brands that really specialize and focus in that, so that they're well made, and then I can redirect the funds that would go into a lot of that costume jewelry into other pieces to build out my collection. The third category relates to this beauty right here. As dramatic as it would be if I said that I'm ditching my Birkin, it's actually the twillies that I would be ditching from my collection. I don't want to get wrapped up in the moment and buy additional twillies. I'm realizing as more time passes that I am not someone who really gets a lot of joy out of twillies. I love looking at them. I feel like they are beautiful. I don't get a lot of joy out of them necessarily. I leave them on my Birkin for more like protection purposes, and also because I like that pop of color. But when I was buying this, I thought, oh, maybe I'll like get different colors and like change them out and things like that. And I honestly can't be bothered to change out any of my twillies. Like I have one on my Picotine, I have these here, and I'm pretty much like set. I don't want to continue looking at twillies and adding them to my collection. I just feel like it's not really worth it for me. If there's a designated functionality for the twilly and like a bag that has a need, then I will definitely have it for that purpose, but I won't keep looking at twillies to see like what new designs came out and what new colorways came out and see if I can switch out the colors on my bags, because I'm realizing I'm not that kind of person who's going to be switching up the twillies on my bags. The next item or category are trendy shoes. I think I've gotten a lot better at this. The shoes that I added to my collection in 2019 were a lot more practical and appropriate in a way. Like they were all items that I knew I had solid use cases for, and I knew I would be able to drive down the cost per wear living in New York City, commuting in New York City, things like that. On Instagram and a lot of social media, you'll see really, really beautiful imagery of lots of things, but especially like shoes, bags, and SLGs, small accessories, things like that. A lot of times these imagery will have really beautiful and like trendy shoes because they're eye-catching and they're wonderful to look at. What really pops into my mind are like those 4-inch stiletto heels. They look beautiful, I agree, but where am I going with wearing those shoes in New York City? Like how far can I walk? Like I can walk like 2 steps, like maybe down the block to the corner, and that's about it. Like you can't, those are not very practical shoes for where I live. And I understand you might have like dinner occasions and things like that, but then you can have your like designated shoes for those occasions, you know what I mean? Rather than like building up and having like 16 pairs of high heels that like I can't wear anymore. For example, these Saint Laurent heart pumps, I believe these are called the Paris style, are super adorable. I love them, but look at how high they are. They are definitely 100mm heel height, and I can't really do that anymore. I can't go very far wearing these. I don't have many occasions to wear these. I like to dress up, but a lot of times I'll have something more dressy on, and then I'll like make it a little bit more casual with a pair of cute sneakers or something like that. Like I like to mix and match some of those styles. As much as I love looking at them, I'm no longer purchasing heels that are 100mm. I am sticking to 70, which is about like 2.5 inches and lower, because that's what makes sense for me. So it's not so much like this style of shoe, or if you're buying 4-inch heels, like you have to stop doing that. That's not what I mean. It's more about, for me, ditching the shoes that I feel like I'm getting because they look good and they're really trendy and I see them on social media, when they don't fit my lifestyle, when they don't fit my needs. then the last category is actually luxury makeup from fashion brands. For example, I have like this eyeshadow from Chanel. I was actually recently cleaning out my makeup vanity and I completely forgot that I had this. I was like, what is this? Like, why do I have a Chanel shadow? And it's like a really pretty color, but the fact that I forgot it existed and the fact that I only saw like one tiny corner over here, like slightly used, I was like, wow, okay, that probably wasn't worth the $45 that I paid for it. I don't know if that's how much it cost, but you know what I mean. Another great example is this Tom Ford palette. I remember I was so obsessed with getting this palette. This is the Eye Color Quad in Golden Mink, and I spent some ungodly amount of money to then get this palette. It's really beautiful, but like I haven't used it for it to really be worth it, honestly. I feel like when it comes to makeup, there are a lot of brands that make excellent quality makeup for a fraction of the price that a lot of these luxury brands are charging, especially when it comes to like color makeup. So that's like your eyeshadow, your cheek, your blush, contour, those kinds of items. There are a lot of brands that focus on making makeup really well that don't cost as much. So I'm definitely ditching my like super high-end like luxury makeup from like fashion brands. I hope that makes sense. A lot of these brands are like not exactly makeup brands. They are fashion houses, and makeup is a part of it. Makeup and fragrance is a part of it. Oh, also like the HERMES lipsticks. I mean, I'm wearing one today. I'm wearing them a lot, but I honestly feel like they are a little hyped. So if you would like to see like a follow-up video on these HERMES lipsticks, let me know in the comments. There's only so much makeup that I can consume on a day-to-day basis, and especially right now when we're not even going outside, I'm not even putting a lot of makeup on unless I'm filming a video. So it's really just like I don't think I need to spend that kind of money on these kinds of color makeup products when I would rather spend it on brands that I know are really focused on makeup and innovating in that makeup space. What am I interested in adding to my collection? I am actually finding a lot of joy out of the home pieces that I have. So you'll see the Avalon blanket there, and I have a pillow here. I have a few little like trinket items as well. I think it's also because we are spending so much time at home now, I am realizing that you're able to use those items and really enjoy them literally every day. Like I don't have to be going out anywhere fancy to be using that blanket later today. And it's not just because we're home a lot right now. Even before all of this happened, I would still use that blanket while I'm watching TV in the evening, right? So I'm realizing that I actually like having those kinds of items in my home. So I definitely feel like I will continue to grow that portion of my collection. Ready to wear is also an area that I would like to build out. And this is not just ready to wear that is like brand new from the boutiques. It's also ready to wear that encompasses pre-loved and vintage pieces, because I feel like that's a great way to inject high quality, high craftsmanship clothes into your collection, and also has that element of sustainability and increasing the life cycle of an article of clothing that gets created. And then of course, handbags. I find myself much more a handbag person than I am like a shoes person. So handbags, I think, will really always continue to be an area that I love to explore. So I'm hoping to grow out my Hermes handbag collection and also add some key pieces from Chanel and things like that. So those are definitely the areas that I will be focusing on this year and for the immediate future. All right, so that is everything. Those are the 5 luxury items that I am ditching from my collection. I will make sure if I do encounter any of those pieces that I will be asking myself all the questions to really make sure I'm ready to add another one to my collection before I commit to it. These are just the areas that I feel like I would rather spend the money elsewhere. So I hope you found it helpful, or at least thought-provoking. If you agree, disagree, or feel like you have any items that I missed, please let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this as well. If you have any other questions, feel free to leave them down below or head on over to Instagram. I'd be happy to help however I can. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate all of your feedback and support. If you like this kind of content and you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. I post new videos every Sunday. So until next time, bye!